right, the 1980s was a decade when food was all about flavor, big portions too, and all-American marketing.
Yeah, sounds like a dream to me. Adam Richman stars in a new show, Adam Eats the 80s, which premieres this Sunday night on the History Channel. He's also gearing up for season 3 of The Food That Built America. Adam, let's start with the 80s. Why choose that decade, man?
I mean, the 80s was just such a dynamic, extreme decade by itself, let alone the food, but so many of the iconic brands and iconic foods that went on to national and global fame started in the 80s. And also there was a ton of foods that were popular in the 80s and then just kind of inexplicably vanished. Plus, based on, we're on the History Channel, so many things happened politically, globally, nationally that affected the food landscape that, the 80s left its imprint on the food world forever. I mean, Ronald Reagan said you could advertise directly to children, so suddenly you had, tons of sugar cereals, cartoon characters, and tie-ins with movies on Happy Meals. You started ranchers in the 80s carried over massive debt from the 70s, sold off their cattle, so suddenly beef's too expensive. Chicken starts appearing on fast food menus, and you had McNuggets in 83, BK chicken tenders in 86. So Coca-Cola switched from sugar to high fructose corn syrup. So there were such big changes that occurred in the food landscape. And let's be honest, the 80s, it was just so cool. The commercials, the jingles, the slogans, and we cover all of it.
I was going to say, I think I can blame the 80s for this right now.
Yeah.
2020s here. So.
Adam, when it comes down to this process, man, what was the most fun about, I guess, learning? Because, it seems like you just learned so much in this process.
Absolutely, and that's always the best part of it. I think the moment of being right where the rubber meets the road, like I've had Nerds candies in my lifetime, but actually meeting the two men who created it, to find out how the moment of inspiration with two men who literally, they were creating, their company had just bought the rights to the Willy Wonka name. They tried to create the everlasting gobstopper. And the scientist that I'm on camera with said, I noticed these little bits of hard sugar that were left in the bottom of the mixer. And I said, we could do something with them. So they coated it with flavoring and coloring, and they had these little shapes. And one of the other scientists, his kids came up with the name called the Nerds. And the graphic designer used to do these little doodles of these little fat, rounded characters on his desk. And they said that would be a great, mascot for the brand. And the way these things just kind of randomly come together, to meet the man who created Orange Chicken, or to meet one of the two men who created Cinnabon, or the guy who created Jolt Cola. Like, these things defined the decade in a major way. Cinnabon is a multinational, multi-million-dollar company. Mrs. Fields, multi-billion-dollar company. So the opportunity to get into the human aspect, where it's not just facts and figures, and it's not just a place at the mall that gives away free samples, that it's actually, a bit of entrepreneurship, a bit of inspiration, a bit of culinary inspiration. That's the coolest stuff.
We're going to put the pressure on you right quick, man. Favorite food or the best food you feel like came out of the 80s? What you got?
Oof, I don't know if I could say the best. No, I'm serious, because there's like, how do you compare a Magic Middle cookie to a Hostess pudding pie to a BK chicken sandwich? There's so many different ones. But I'll say one of the ones that I miss the most are the OG McDonald's French fries, the ones that were fried in the beef fat, in the beef tallow, and the original sucrose sugar Coca-Cola, the original one, not the high fructose corn syrup. They have a very different flavor, and that's what I mean. Like, I think very often the foods of our youth are better because of nostalgia. We look at it with rose-colored glasses, but the truth of the matter is the flavors were different, and they're gone forever.
Man, he's Adam Richman, and he's got the jobs that me and this guy both want, man. Adam, appreciate you, man, so much. Good luck with everything happening.
Appreciate it.